là, you're à Solid Rock. Salut tout le monde, c'est Geneviève.
Thank you.
You're playing tonight at the Spectrum.
Yes.
All right, and you have new musicians with you on stage. You have a new bass player and new guitar player. How did that happen?
Actually, on our last record, Individual Thought Patterns, we had a guitar player by the name of Andy LaRock, who plays in King Diamond, one of my favorite bands. He came in and helped us out for just the record, you know, because we couldn't steal him from King Diamond. He's obviously still in the band. So he helped us out, and it was an honor. It's a dream come true, definitely. So we kind of had that guitar spot still open, which we were looking for a permanent player, and we found Bobby Cobley, who's an excellent guitar player. And he plays really from his heart and soul, which is very important.
And you've got a new bass player also.
Yes, actually we've got Kelly on the album, but we had to replace him shortly before the tours due to certain reasons, you know, which were unfortunate. But we've got a friend of ours, Brian Benson, who is from an Orlando band called Pain Principle, playing on tour with us. So
a lot of change, but for good?
Yeah, but for good, yeah, definitely. You know, we need to keep things running smoothly, and we need to have the right people in the band, and this, I feel, is a very good band right now. It's excellent. And Gene Hoglan on drums, naturally.
C'est vrai. Alors, ce soir, sur scène, vous allez remarquer des nouveaux musiciens. C'est que sur Individual Thought Patterns, il y avait Andy LaRock qui était là, mais qui avait participé à l'album seulement. Et bon, ils ont dû trouver un guitariste pour la tournée. Alors, le nouveau guitariste, c'est Bobby. Et puis après ça, ils ont eu Kelly comme bassiste qui a travaillé sur l'album, mais il n'a pas fait la tournée pour des raisons que Chuck connaît. Et puis maintenant, ils ont Brian comme bassiste. Et puis Chuck dit être très content du nouveau line-up, du nouveau musicien avec qui il est. So on your latest album, Symbolic, I think you said that the lyrics are less angry. Why did you take that direction?
Well, definitely there's less anger involved in this record lyrically. Different part of my life, you know. Previously, there was a lot going on within the problems within the business. A lot of problems within the business side of the music.
Like, what is...
Corruption, greed, you know, people wanting to ruin the band.
So that made you angry before?
Very. I got ripped off for a lot of money, and the press in Europe were really attacking me at that point, spreading rumors, and that's how we had that slogan, support music, not rumors, for that very reason.
But you felt more peaceful when you wrote the
Definitely. There's always anger inside all of us, you know, there's lots of things to be angry at in life, but you can't let it take over what you're doing and consume you. So for music, I think that's our outlet. For a lot of anger and all sorts of feelings on the new record, you know. Definitely happiness, sadness, anger, confusion.
Alors, auparavant, les paroles étaient peut-être un peu plus agressives. Je disais qu'il y a beaucoup de choses qui l'ont dérangé, surtout dans le monde de la musique. Beaucoup de corruption. Il y a la presse européenne qui a été très dure avec le groupe aussi. Donc ça l'a affecté énormément. Mais il est un peu plus en paix maintenant. Mais bon, sur l'album, il y a d'autres différents thèmes. Il y a beaucoup de confusion quand même. On va voir un vidéoclip de l'album précédent, Individual Thought Patterns, et la chanson Philosopher. On revient tout de suite après avec Chuck. De retour à Solid Rock avec Chuck du groupe Death. Le groupe est en spectacle ce soir au Spectrum de Montréal avec Gorgot et aussi Homicide en première partie. So you still enjoy doing that kind of music after all these years?
Sure, definitely. I mean, at the same time, you've got to expand, which I think has kept things enjoyable. You know, I think there's not many... you shouldn't put a limit on what you're doing, even in something heavy. You know, there's a lot of melody also involved in what we're doing, and a lot of hopefully new directions that we're heading to. I like to picture our music as a winding road with a few hills involved here and there, you know. Hopefully we'll always put out records that people can say, wow, that's something new, that's something fresh, because for us, we're fans of music as well. So when you go and buy a record, you don't want to buy the same record you bought last year. You know, so for us, I think each record should be different, or else it's not very fair to the fans or yourself, you know.
Alors, je me demandais s'il aimait toujours faire ce genre de musique-là après toutes ces années-là. Puis il disait oui, absolument. Puis il disait il faut pas avoir peur d'explorer, c'est ce qui rend ça si agréable. Et puis il disait aussi il faut pas faire le même album tout le temps parce que les fans vont être déçus. Puis il disait moi, je vois ma musique comme un chemin sinueux qui change constamment avec des montagnes, tout ça. Et donc, ça varie énormément. Alors, je vous rappelle que Jeff est en spectacle ce soir au Spectrum de Montréal avec Gorgot et Homicide. Thank you very much for dropping by.
Thank you very much.
Nice to meet you. Have a good show tonight.
Thank you.
On s'arrête le temps d'une pause, on revient à Solid Rock.
From the metal capital of the world, this is the Tampa Bay Spike, a local magazine. And today the Power 30 is going to be coming at you still from Florida. We are in Tampa at Morris Sound recording. This is the mecca of metal world in this area. We're going to go in and check out and see what's happening. Well, Jim, you're the owner, one of the co-owners of Morris Sound. You started it with your brother. Can you tell me how you started?
Well, my brother had a studio in Mississippi, and I was a musician and working at a music store here in Florida, and we decided to kind of pool our resources and try to open a studio. So we figured that Tampa which is where I was living. You know, I already knew a lot of the people in the music industry. It felt like a good spot. We did kind of a really cheesy market survey to find out if this is a good location, and we both liked Florida, so we decided to stay right here and open one up. And we opened it up on a shoestring budget, and we've been building it now this is our 12th year, I think.
Jim, why do so many death metal bands come here and record at your studio?
Good question. I think it originally started because we kind of got into the ground floor of the whole Florida heavy metal scene. We did the very first Sabotage album and the early Nasty Savage records, and that kind of started a groundswell in the area. And I think the biggest reason we got so involved in it was most places people to record, they didn't care about the recording studio, and the engineers didn't really care about that kind of music. They didn't like it, so they didn't do a good job of it. And we did a good job, or tried to do a good job right from the gate. So it made us probably one of the only facilities in the world that was into it. That tried
welcoming the bands.
Yeah, and we welcomed quite a few of them at this point.
Can I say I'm really pissed about the World Series? We talk.
Oh, are you? Come on.
I'm not. It's a joke. It's humor. Because I'm an Atlanta Braves fan.
Yeah. Oh, wasn't that a great last game? Oh, man. It was great. Let me tell you something. I know.
Sorry. God damn it. It's a Braves fan.
No, the best part was King. Go Blue Jays. Okay?
Yep.
Who's that?
It's Ralph.
Ralph?
That's Ralph Santola from Eyewitness. And he's here recording at Morris Sound also. He has a commercial hard rock band. And he loves Anchor.
Well, this is a pretty... Are you jerking me around?
No.
Okay, we are at Morris Sound Studios. This is Scott Burns, and Scott has just about produced every worthwhile death metal band around. Scott, how you doing?
I'm doing great. How are you?
I'm fine, thank you. And you certainly have made a career out of producing death metal.
Well, I thank you very much.
So what is it, the appeal to you? What is it that makes you stick it out and keep doing it and, interfere with other projects too?
I don't know. I always like metal, and especially used to like a lot of punk stuff and just stuff that's extreme. And I don't know. I just like stuff that's I don't know, evil, rowdy.
You don't look too evil and rowdy.
I can be evil.
So Scott, who has recorded here? Some of the bands. Can you go through them?
Sure. Sabotage, Warrant, Sepultura, Morbid Angel, Death, Obituary, Deicide, Cannibal Corpse, Gorguts, Atheist, Demolition Hammer, Asssuck, who else? There's a million.
Sounds like a list of a horror film. Of those bands, how many have you personally produced?
I've probably done like 30 different bands.
Most of the ones that you've listed that you've worked with.
Yes, not Warrant, not Morbid Angel, and not Sabotage.
Okay, so when you're producing here, what happens? What goes on? Not so much with the technical buttons here that we were discussing before, but what goes on with the band? They sit, they play in there, you sit in here, and what do you do? What do you tell them to do?
I change everything, especially bass players. No.
Lots of bass players present here. Hey, there goes one. See ya.
No. What do we do? Usually the studio out there, it's amplifiers, or if they're singing, the vocals for isolation. And what do? I don't, we just try and capture good performances on tape and let them play their music.
Usually with a band like, say, Death, how many takes of each song will you do before you get the right mix that you need?
I don't know, it just depends on how well the band's playing and what's going on. I mean, sometimes it can be in one take, other times it might be 250 takes. Just depends till you get the right take.
Do you put your image of what the band should sound like on the albums a lot? Like, do you have a lot of fights? Do things happen like that?
Everyone has fights, but we're all metal brothers united, and we come through at the end. But no, I'm serious. I mean, we have disagreements, so we try and come through and, and get the best thing. But, I mean, Chuck definitely has his idea and the band members, and I don't try and change that. I just try and add things that may complement it and all. And like I said, it's not my album, it's theirs. But I just try and give good input, and when they tell me to shut up, I shut up.
Well, this Metal Brothers United, that's something very dear to your heart.
Because we are Metallic Brothers United, and that's why it's not just death metal. See, look at this, right here. This sums it all up. Now, this is part of the Metallic universe.
Well, what is it? Tell me.
This is the metallic grapefruit from the abysmal fires of hell, grown from my tree in sunny Florida. And these are people that we worship. King Diamond, one of the greatest metalers around. Lemmy, Rob Halford, Gene Simmons, Tom Warrior.
And?
I don't know who these guys are, but they look funny. So anyway, so that's why we're Metal Brothers United for Metal.
Well, that's recording at Morrisound.
And to show how metal we are, Chuck is on the orb. The whole universe spins around Chuck from Death.
Hey, there was one thing that we talked about when we were off camera that I really wanted you to repeat about the death metal scene.
Yeah.
And how, so right now there are like a million bands coming out that sound like other bands.
Yeah.
So what's going to happen?
No, I don't know. I mean, I think like any scene, there's a million. Now death metal's become really popular, and it's an inbreeding kind of thing. It's a lot of these new bands are young and they're trying, which is really cool, but they're copying bands that still exist, like Death, Morbid Angel, Obituary, etc. And because of that, the originality is lost. It's like if a band came out now that sounded like Metallica, why would you want to listen to them when Metallica still exists? And I think that's part of the problem now with death metal a little bit, is there's too many bands that sound the same. But like anything, like, any type of movement, the good bands will stick around, and then a lot of the bad bands will just fade away. But I mean, it's cool that everyone is trying and that they're into it. I don't mean it in a bad way. I just mean it becomes rather derivative after a while. You hear riffs stolen from other bands that still exist.
What makes a good death metal band?
What makes a good death metal band? Just extreme, and they have their own sound, and fast and angry, and something that your mom doesn't like.
And brutal?
And brutal. It's got to be brutal.
No.
Hi.
Hi. How you doing?
I'm Teresa.
Nice to meet you. I'm Chuck.
Hi, Chuck. Very nice to meet you, finally.
This is Andy.
Hi, Andy.
Andy.
How you doing?
Hello. How are you?
Good.
He's hanging out with Chuck Schuldiner from Death, and look, Andy from King Diamond. This is a bit of a coincidence. I mean, you're from Sweden. What are you doing here?
Well, I'm actually recording a bit with the guys.
Which guys?
Death guys.
You are, huh? What project is this going to be?
It's still going to be Death, Chuck's band,
So
But
you're just like joining in.
yeah, actually, I was asked to do a couple of solos on it.
Great. Well, Chuck, I have to tell you that for all your reputation as being like the death metal guru, you're far too nice and too pleasant.
I wore my signature just to crush any misconceptions of death metalers being cruel to animals or anything. I'm an animal lover. And yeah, you know, people will probably be surprised if they met a lot of bands, you know, especially in this type of music, because everyone seems extreme and, you know, they put on this image, but, you know, I'm definitely whatever, trying to break that.
Yeah.
You know, we're people too.
What does the scene still do for you? What does the music still do for you? And where are you taking it, like with the new recording, for example?
Well, I like to think that we're taking it to a new level each record. I want to stay musical and put in my influences, which have to do with a lot of melodic bands, anything from you know, Merciful Fate, King Diamond, to you know, a lot of bands, Watchtower, you know, Queensryche, a lot of old heavier stuff like Possessed. You know, I mean, I'm trying to incorporate all my personal tastes, influences and stuff, you know, and let them come out. I'm not into holding back, trying to live up to a certain reputation of being the heaviest. You know, I'm not out for that. You know, I'm into a lot of different types of music, you know.
What about what's happening with Merciful Fate?
Merciful Fate is recording in Dallas right now with the original lineup except for the drummer. I don't know the guy's name, but they have been in the studio for like 2 weeks, I think, and they'll be done in about 3 or 4 weeks. And I don't really know what's going to happen with it, but what I know is that this album is going to be released, and as soon as it's released, we're going to continue to start working on the King Diamond thing.
So it's just in the back burner for now.
Well, you never know, you know, but all the music for King Diamond is already done. It's written everything, and we'll probably go into the studio like this summer.
What's the name of the album going to be?
Spider's Lullaby.
Spider's Lullaby. And is it going to go in any new direction, or what do you think? Is this little, you know, hiatus here, more sound influenced you in any way?
A bit maybe, yeah. But since the songs are already done and all that, you know, I don't think we're going to change that for the next album. So it'll be basically the same like King Diamond style, but of course better songs.
Chuck, a lot of people credit you with starting the death metal scene, the death metal genre. What do you think when they say that?
Well, it's definitely flattering, but I really can't consider myself to have started it. I think bands like Venom, in my opinion, Venom were the first to have the brutal vocal style, you know, tuning low, their instruments, that initial really brutal aggression. But I think maybe I've kept it going, you know, to what death metal is today, as far as, you know, a lot of those old bands are no longer going like Venom, and I guess I picked up where they left off, and, you know, I'm still in there, luckily.
But you having, when you then got a band named Death, right, then that sort of coined the term. That's probably another reason why. It's not just what you were doing, but the fact that you called it something.
Right, it's a pretty brutal name, definitely. At the time, I wanted something, you know, extreme, something brutal, shocking, to go along with the music, you know, and now I would probably call it something different, but it's kind of stuck with us, and, you know, it's just a name, and I hope people really don't get a wrong impression that we're, like, anti-life, because, you know.
They do, though. People do get that impression all the time, like, not just parents, but other people that listen to heavy metal that won't listen to death metal.
Right.
They just think, oh, what's that stuff?
Yeah, it's a drag. Hopefully they'll read the lyrics and realize I'm saying something that maybe they can relate to, or something, you know. I have a lot of songs that I think a lot of people can relate to.
Well, you've said that you don't want to be lumped in with the other sort of death metal bands. Why is that?
I just... I'm not going to name anyone, but I think in all types of music, you know, when something gets real big, it tends to get out of control. I think some bands are out of control with what they're doing. They just don't realize what they're doing. You know, a lot of things are hurting this music. It's giving people an excuse to kind of say, wait, this is a bit extreme. You know, we need to do something. You know, I'm tired of that, you know. the negative vibe, you know.
It's funny having both of you here because you're both representing two places where death metal is really, really popular, and of course it makes sense why you're here together. But do you ever think why? Like, why Florida? Why Tampa? Why Sweden?
This is probably the heavy metal capital of the United States now, I would say.
Yeah,
kind of.
it's bizarre. I cannot back that up with a proper answer. I think, I don't know, maybe it's the oranges, or I don't know, the mosquitoes or something. I don't know.
Maybe the heavy metals aren't that heavy after all. I mean, they're coming down here for the sunshine, I guess.
That's right. But yeah, I don't know, it's weird. Maybe they played in Sweden to keep warm.
Well, that's what we're thinking. Okay, cold countries, Canada, Sweden, you know, same type of climate. It's like you hang out a lot indoors. You hang out in your basement a lot. You know, people play a lot of guitar. But Florida, why aren't you on the beach?
I don't know. I wish we were. Definitely.
Okay, let's check out Death on the Power 30. This is Lack of Comprehension. Brutal.
Metal.
From the band Death, and a lot of you people have been writing, and I even tell you this every single show, about both of these bands. Death, we've been playing your video a little bit on the Headbangers Ball. In Cannibal Corpse, we get so many requests for Cannibal Corpse, and whenever I go to shows, especially like I went and saw you guys play in Milwaukee, and everybody, especially your fans, love to scream at me and throw things at me about not playing your videos. And I'm telling them, it's not up to me. But have you guys got any plans to do a video? I mean, you don't have very many videos.
No, we have some, like, homemade videos that the kids make for us, you know, some pornographic stuff, but it's interesting.
So if you're wondering why we don't play Cannibal Corpse videos on MTV, there isn't one. Are you going to do one? So these people can get off my back?
Yeah, we'd like to do one, you know, but it's just a matter of what it's going to look like and what we're thinking about at the time, you know, and who's going to use it. We don't know.
Now, on the other hand, Death went out in, like, what appears to be like a pretty high-budget video.
Actually, it's very budgeted.
Where did you film the video?
We filmed it, actually, part of it was outside in natural springs in Florida, and the other half was shot 2 hours away in some warehouse in the middle of tornado land.
Because looking at the video, I mean, it looks like it was like in some rainforest or something. You went and spent all the money on it, and it's a nice video.
Thank you. We're very happy with how it turned out, definitely. Josh is a great director, by the way.
So tell me, representing, like, the death band scene, tell me the importance of going to something with Foundations Forum. Like, are you the only member of your band that's here today?
Yeah, I'm the only one here.
What are you doing here?
Just, like, schmoozing with all the folks, you know, hanging out, meeting some people that, you know, have been supporting us, and, you know, just meeting some people, basically.
Because you guys have got a real strong fan base.
Yeah, you know, we've worked hard over the past few years, you know, with the 3 albums that we put out, and, you know, it's grown to just become, you know, the metal feeling, just like everything else out there.
So would both of you guys agree, since hard rock has kind of become mainstream, and you've got bands like Metallica being played on every radio station, that death metal is the only true rebellion side of rock and roll, rebellious side?
I think it's just going to be like how Metallica was. I remember when Metallica was like the Outcast type of music, type of band. It's an evolution, and people are going to be looking for heavier stuff, and there's definitely a lot of bands out there to supply the metal needs that people are, you know, out there demanding. I mean, like you said, a lot of people write in, they want to hear heavy stuff. Well, this is, I think, the next generation, definitely, and, you know, we're all very psyched, definitely.
Well, thanks a lot for taking the time to talk to us. You'll probably be seeing more death videos on Headbangers Ball, and you probably will see one of these guys' videos if they give us a video, right?
Let us use
okay, okay, there you go. We'll work out something. Do me a favor. Keep on writing about the heavier videos. Now, regarding the Cannibal Corpse video, when they give us one, and it's okay to play on TV, I would probably guarantee that we will play it on Headbangers Ball. I'm sure we'll do everything we can. And regarding a death video, I promise you we'll play one right now. Here's Death with The Philosopher.
And barbecuing, you know, playing with our cats and dogs, you know, things that everyone pretty much enjoys doing. You know, I enjoy a very normal lifestyle. You know, I am set in my ways. I'm going to continue doing what I do. It's what I enjoy and what I know best, you know, how to do. If I didn't do this, I don't know what I do. Maybe I can cook. I like cooking.
The whole lineup went on to do their band, which they still had together at the time when they were helping me out. And so they're doing their thing now, and that meant I needed to start looking for new people, and luckily that wasn't any problem. I lucked out and got a hold of Gene, formerly of Dark Angel, and called him up, and he was into jamming out, and so that was great. And then to top it off, I got Steve back jamming again. He's taking time from Status right now, who are still together, you know. And so it's been fantastic. And we got Andy LaRock from King Diamond to come down and do some lead work. So it was really top notch. I plan on continuing to do this and putting the lyrics in the direction of reality. Fifth record, and you know, I don't plan on stopping here. I want to continue and keep moving things forward. Stop putting categories on things, and this music can be accepted on a bigger level one day. It'd be great. A lot actually. We've got a new record coming out. Actually just came out 3 weeks ago, Individual Thought Patterns. We've been doing some European dates, a couple weeks with a bunch of other bands a couple months ago. That went really great. We just did a festival in Holland, and now we've been touring the U.S. for going on about 3 weeks soon. So I've been pretty busy, definitely.
So what happened to the old lineup, and how would you describe the new boys?
The whole lineup went on to do their band, which they still had together at the time when they were helping me out. And so they're doing their thing now, and that meant I needed to start looking for new people, and luckily that wasn't any problem. I lucked out and got a hold of Gene, formerly of Dark Angel, and called him up, and he was into jamming out, and so that was great. And then to top it off, I got Steve back jamming again. He's taking time from Setlist right now, who are still together, you know. And so it's been fantastic. And we got Andy LaRock from King Diamond to come down and do some lead work. So it was a really top-notch, you know, experience, definitely, as far as the musicianship and people being really strong at what they're doing.
Okay. How would you describe the new record as opposed to the previous albums?
I would just say it's definitely a lot more varied as far as the music isn't so one way. It's got a lot of curves to it, and it's definitely just a lot more varied. There's a lot more going on. It's a lot less predictable, definitely.
Okay, now kind of archive question. Could you describe like how you got into playing and creating the music you play, and how would you like to describe the whole genre of what it developed into?
I was lucky and found out about underground metal just by chance. I got into the underground, you know. There was a record shop that carried Kick-Ass Monthly or Metal Forces, you know, and I got the second issue with Dio on the cover. You know the one. And from there on, it just set me into the underground metal scene, which is one of the most incredible things to be part of if you're into metal or rock or anything. Is a really special movement.
Okay, so how did it develop from there in 1992, where you have a tour bus, you have a band, you have records, you know, things are happening?
Right, yeah, things are definitely looking better. It just evolved out of 5 different demos until April of '86. We recorded our 5th demo, and we got signed finally to Combat Records. And it took a lot of hard work because back in the early '80s, Florida was not a place for metal in general, any kind of metal. And so it was very difficult getting the proper people to play with, and you know, so it took a long time, and we're on our 5th record, and you know, I don't plan on stopping here. I want to continue and keep moving things forward, which is where I feel the new album is definitely taking us.
Okay, even though you're considered a death metal band, you deal with a lot of important issues which need to be touched. Could you explain or introduce some of those things you think about?
On the new record, a lot of the issues deal with the corrupt side of the music business. People I have to deal with, and every other band out there has to deal with. That makes it very, very difficult to continue doing what we're doing. I've overcome a lot of odds, and I'm happy to still be here. And the people out there that hurt the bands financially and as people, those are the people that in the end get shown for what they are. A lot of the new lyrics reflect that, what comes around goes around type attitude. You know, I am set in my ways. I'm going to continue doing what I do. It's what I enjoy and what I know best, you know, how to do. If I didn't do this, I don't know what I do. Maybe I'd be a cook. I like cooking. You know, that's pretty limited. So, I plan on continuing to do this and putting the lyrics in the direction of reality. You know, like I said, the new lyrics are dealing with the corrupt side of the music business and stuff like that.
Okay, well, being like one of the leading bands of death metal, and a lot of people might have a different image of you than you would want them to see. What kind of person is Chuck Schuldiner of death? I mean, I call you once in a while and you mow a on or
right.
Whatever. So,
very down to earth, family oriented, home type person. You know, I like doing simple things. I like going to the beach, having a good time, barbecuing, you know, playing with our cats and dogs, you know, things that everyone pretty much enjoys doing. You know, I enjoy a very normal lifestyle. It's nothing outrageous, no wild parties. I'm pretty mellow, and you know, it's just I like staying a part of the normal side of life, and that's what it is to me, normal things. You know, doing things with my friends and family, and just being a normal person, because the music business is not normal, and you need a break, and you have got to separate the two, because there's a point in my life where they were getting mixed, and it's not a good thing. You know, it's not a good thing at all to mix, to get your anger and against the business involved into your life. You know, you really have to keep them separate. And it's hard to at times, definitely.
Now on the funny side of things, what would you say would be like the most funniest or outrageous experience while on the tour or recording or being in the band?
Definitely, it was 2 days ago, being thrown out of an in-store we were doing. We arrived an hour late, not being our fault, and so we got there like an hour late, stepped into the doors, and within 5 seconds of entering the doors, the owner and his mother or wife or something screamed at the top of their lungs, "Get the hell out of here, we're going to have you arrested for being late to our in-store." So they threw us out of the in-store. All these, you know, people were there for us, you know, to hang out and sign stuff and talk to, and they were in shock, we were in shock, we got thrown out. We did the in-store outside the store, and in their parking lot. Meanwhile, we had arguments with the owner while signing things and told him to get a toupee and all this. Go to hell, whatever. Many other things I can't say. You know. It was wild. I've never been kicked out of an in-store for being late. Things happen and people have to realize that. It was definitely interesting, to say the least.
Okay, so
Definitely.
to wrap things up, what's next?
To keep continuing doing what we're doing, playing music, keep expanding what we're doing musically, and you know, stay true to what we're about, and that's a metal band, and you know, hopefully people will stop putting categories on things, and this music can be accepted on a bigger level one day. It'd be great.
This kind of brings me to additional question. Do you see a band like that going into mainstream level?
I have no idea. I remember people said Metallica were noise and crap and would go nowhere, and they're huge, and yes, in my opinion, recently they have kind of gone into the mainstream approach when it wasn't fully needed, but you know, I want to continue being sincere, not going backwards, becoming less technical, and you know, I want to just keep moving forward and have a record each time around where people can say, wow, you know, that's a lot different in a way from their last album, but still be the same. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Have a fresh approach, but at the same time have it where someone can put it on and they can say that's Death, except a lot better. I hope each album's better. Definitely. That's our goal.
Okay. Let me ask you another question. Do you feel the moniker Death still fits what you're doing, like as far as personal views and musical views are concerned?
At this point, it's just a name, and it's a name that definitely, when I thought of it when I was 16, is a lot. You know, the band's a lot different, lyrics are a lot different, either more like movie-oriented, like gory type stuff, which is cool for 86 and 85 and 84 and 83 and all that. And you have to move on. And I think the name definitely hinders the band to a certain point, but at the same time, people really dig it, and hopefully they just take it as a name. You know, it's like Black Sabbath. That's a very brutal name, especially in 1972 or whenever, 73 when they started. So hopefully people can look at it that way. Death is a band in 93, and Sabbath was also a brutal name in 72, and hopefully people can accept it. And because it's definitely not my view on life. I mean, I enjoy living, and I want to continue to do so, and you know, so hopefully people just take it as a name.
Yeah. Thank you.
Cool, thanks.
I need you to do something like, I'm Captain Death, look for me and my band in an upcoming episode of Mind Melt video.
Mind Melt video. Okay. Ready?
Yeah, go.
I can't do that.
You're watching Channel 11. Sit over there.
Do what?
Before y'all start.
Yeah. I'll laugh at you watching.
Channel 11. Well, this way people know there's going to be a feature. It's not going to be in the next. Alright. Yeah.
I just got the giggles. Okay.
Change it.
I can't.
I know, but I just starting to laugh.
Skip it?
Can we wait a little while and I'll do it? I swear I'm gonna laugh. Okay. Let's nail it. I'll do it. Wait. Don't look away. That's what's making me laugh.
Okay, I'm not too proud. People walk away.
Yeah, it's cool. Okay. No, don't. Hi, I'm Chuck from the band. Dude, I can't. I'm just stoned on bait.
How about just watch me in an upcoming episode of My Mouth. You don't have to say your name.
Okay.
People will like. Maybe. Hi, this is Chuck from Death. He's gonna be featured in the next episode of My Mouth.
Look for us in metal.
Nothing's like
Oh, when that was good. Spontaneous.
We'll just skip it. Well, we were Chuck from Death, and Death and Chuck will be featured in the next episode of Mind Melt.
Mind Melt. Cool. Yeah, are you gonna videotape the show?
Yeah, if you don't mind. You know Sean?
Pardon me?
You know Sean? Sean Sitka?
Yeah.
He's gonna have a copy if you want it. Oh, you can write to me and I'll send you one.
Okay.
Okay?
Paul, you wanna get on this? Grab a chair.
What is it?
It's an interview.
It's a for fanzine.
Hell.
Okay. Introduce all the new members from Death.
Okay. Well, this is Paul Masvidal. Lead guitar, fearsomness. Scott Perino, bass and fishing. And Sean is probably the bus resting because he's been sick. Sean Reiner, drum god.
Let's go back to a while ago. Why did you leave the tour with your all new band Death?
Pardon me?
Why did you leave the band, the tour? They wanted to go to Europe.
Right.
You didn't want to go. Why?
Unfortunately, it was not a good time in my life to do it. I had a lot of things on my mind that had been building up for quite a long time within the business, outside the business. And it was a point where I had to take time out at a bad time to get control over things that were going wrong. And it was definitely the correct move because by doing this, I saw who my friends were and who they weren't. I saw people for their true face, definitely.
So this is basically the new Death, and it's gonna stay Death.
Well, Death will always be Death. You know. Sean and Paul have a band called Cynic from Miami, which they still have. It's somewhat on hold to luckily help me out on these tours. Probably might want to explain.
Well, we intend to hopefully try and balance the two of them, like depending on what happens. I mean, it's hard to tell right now, but we're gonna finish this tour and record a Cynic record, which who knows what will come of that, but at least do that, and then go back and probably do something with Chuck and see what comes of it, you know, just, we're taking everything one day at a time, you know.
It's cool because, you know, I mean, I don't put any pressure on them. They know, I mean, I respect Sean and Paul for having their musical things outside. You know, they have their band and that's what they need, and that's very important to express yourself musically. And so, you know, for now, it's the killer. You know, Death is able to go on tour, and like Paul said, you know, we're just enjoying ourselves right now and having a good time.
And back to the beginning, though, what were your main influences back then?
My main influences were definitely the early underground, like Merciful Fate, Venom, Anvil, Exciter, Metallica, you know, all these bands, Slayer, all the early bands that are responsible for what is today. So unfortunately, a lot of people don't even know about because they're getting into the scene now, and there's, in my opinion, a little bit too much death metal going around. You know, really, people need to get more picky.
Have you heard about a Canadian band, Purlance? Purlance from Canada. They're cool. Yeah. So okay. Now with the new bands, you're planning to do a tour. You're on the tour now, and after the tour, or right now, have you worked on new tracks for maybe a further album with the new guys?
Oh well, I've got a lot of material going right now. You know, I got a big chunk of material actually written for the next record. I want to try to stay ahead of things. As we're on tour, it's really hard to write, you know, because you're playing every night and, you know, you get to try to get practice in between that. But definitely, you know, there's the next record will not be a repeat of anything. You know, I never want to do that, and I'll stop playing before I put something out like that. You know, that's old or repetitive. Exactly. Definitely, I would not want to put anything out that I would regret.
So, the more it goes on, the more it gets technical.
Yeah, sure, definitely. I'm musical for that matter. Just progressing, you know, becoming more involved with your instrument, making things more interesting for yourself as a musician. You know, it's just a natural thing. You know, as long as you're a musician and you're serious about yourself and your instrument, it's only natural to progress on it. And it's not necessarily becoming more technical, it's just more musical. So I call it. Yeah, and let yourself let what's on your mind come out into the music, and you're always going to be sincere with yourself if you use music as an extension of maybe perhaps what you're going through, what you're thinking about, or a certain mood you're feeling.
So right now, are you listening to like demo bands or new bands that are on the scene?
Well, it's definitely impossible to keep up with the bands coming out these days. I get demos and I listen to them, and sometimes I like what I hear, sometimes I don't. You know, there's too many. I'm very picky. You know, I'm picky about what I hear. I don't want to hear imitation of another band. I'd rather listen to the original of another band. There's a lot of imitations going on right now. I mean, it's just reality. But you know, there's bands out there that are trying to do something different. I just wish more were. You know, definitely.
On this tour, is it going well? The song, everything, not like on last tour when you left like Houston and they had a riot because somebody threw water onto you. And
yeah, they were throwing ashtrays and bottles at all the bands.
Not on this tour.
Not yet. Everything. The only problem we've had is with equipment. You know, everything else has been going gold. We just had a lot of technical difficulties, but everything's cool so far.
You recorded your album with Scott Burns. Do you like working with him?
Yeah, he's a god. In fact, Cynic just did their new demo with Scott Burns. And he's god, yeah, we all love him to death.
Yeah.
As a person and as an engineer and producer, you know. When you get that triple combo, you know, you got something really killer on your hands. You know, it's hard to come across someone who are friends with and you're on a good working relationship with.
Did he do some backup vocals on the album?
Pardon me?
Did he do some backup vocals? No.
Who?
Scott.
No.
No.
Did he do backups?
Yeah, on Gargat's album, a band from Sherbrooke here, and he did some backup vocals. Yeah.
Scott did?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
It sounds very cool. Yeah? Scott, did he back up to Gargat?
I know Chris Arms did.
Cannibal Squad's singer did some backup vocals too on the Gargat's album. But okay. How's the music scene right now in Florida?
It's definitely big.
Yeah, lots of bands are coming out, you know, like the tardy vocal scene is really happening now. You know, like that style is very popular. And it's just like trendy. It's trendy to have death metal.
Yeah, the scene is trendy, man. I mean, you know, just in my opinion, just because the scene is big doesn't make it good. You know, definitely not. You're Sean Reiner.
Is there a steam room?
Anyways, yeah, you know, it's real big, but I would definitely personally like to see more quality and less death metal. I'd like to see a killer melodic band come out, or a killer Watchtower, or something very progressive, or just, you know, there's enough death metal as it is.
But do you get along with bands like Morbid Angel, D-Side, Obituary?
Certain bands we do. I think Obituary are very cool. They're down to earth and there's no ego inflating going on, you know. So, you know, unfortunately, there's a lot of like tension in the air among bands in Florida. There's a lot of competition. Everyone's worried about the other person instead of just doing their thing. You know, and that's what I think people need to start doing, is worrying less about the other bands. Just, you know, do your thing and prove yourself through your music. You know, there's, unfortunately, I'd like to be friends with all bands, but unfortunately there's people out there who just can't do that, you know. And whatever, you know, it's the way it is, I guess.
You did a lot of concert in them. Which is your favorite concert you gave?
Ever?
Yeah, ever.
I'd probably say a show we played with Cynic in Miami. Cameo? That was Cameo with Cynic in Miami. It was godly.
Just a lot, yeah, that was just flow.
The most hellish audience ever, man. You know, and all the bands had a great response that night. It's really cool. Such a great vibe. You know, such a positive vibe.
Did you have trouble getting these guys to come with you? Like the guys from Cynic?
Yeah, I had to chain them up and, you know, it was a drag. No, you know, it's cool. I mean, you know, I wanted them to be a part of this tour and Part of Death because they performed on the album and without a doubt enhanced the energy level and professionalism of the album. So definitely, you know, it was a great thing to happen.
So they're not puppets like other bands. They take other musicians and they are puppets. They do the album, but they don't go on tour.
Yeah, no one's you know, treated badly or anything. This is a band that consists of 4 people, not one, not Chuck Schuldiner's project. You know, it's a band and we're all people and we all, you know, discuss things and, you know, there's no bossing around involved or anything, you know, definitely not. It's a very easygoing atmosphere.
Third time here in Montreal, and what do you think of it?
I think Montreal's killer. It's a pain in the ass to get here. Canada borders, but, you know, the crowds are friendly and people are friendly and it makes up for it, and the hash is killer.
And your first time in Montreal, what do you think of it?
I think it's great. I love the city. I think it's killer. I'd like to spend a few months here and experience the culture and live here. You know, it's great.
Speak French and all that stuff.
Definitely. It's cool. I like it here. I mean, I haven't seen much of it, but from what I've seen, it seems really interesting.
Ouais. Non, as-tu des questions pour Chuck? Non. You don't have questions. Okay. What's in the near future for Death?
To just keep progressing, you know, as a band musically, to never put anything repetitive or anything already used, you know, to not have to rely on past ideas, to always stay fresh, you know, to never jump on any trends or anything. You know, that's what I'm concerned with staying original.
So,
yes, we've done a video about 2.5 months ago for Lack of Comprehension, which is a song about the whole Judas Priest type scandal where parents were blaming the cliche of heavy metal music being bad on their wrongdoing, their wrong upbringing of their children. You know, just blaming it on someone that has no
Blaming
heart.
on the music instead of themselves.
Exactly, wanting to hide behind that wall of cliches. You know.
and bringing that up, what do you write about? The topics?
Reality, things we all deal with in life, certain problems we all have to overcome, obstacles, just reality in general.
So they are very important to you?
Yeah, definitely. I like to use a song as a way to express a belief I feel strongly about, or something, or something that I feel someone can read and get something out of the rap.
So, any last comments?
Just support music and not rumors. That'd be my definitely what do you that'd be mine. I mean, that's a good one. Support music and not rumors, and just listen to the music for what it is. Realize that there's integrity behind it, and that there's depth to music more so than what you read in a magazine or something like that. Exactly. Don't rely on reviews to it's just a single person's opinion.
Man, he was like, he never even sung thrash a day in his life.
Really?
Damn. It was like,
that's risky.
Yeah, he was
always fucked up. Hardcore. I heard that.
Hey, you guys gonna play a lot of old shit tonight off of fucking Scream Bloody Gore and Leprosy?
Well, we're gonna play as much as we can, as much as we've learned with the new guitars. It'll be brutal. It'll be good. He's a good guy.
same order as last time?
No different.
Living Monstrosity.
Yeah. Albert, Evildedd.
What's his name?
Albert.
What's his last name? I have the Foundation of Civilization.
It's only available on
import.
Yeah.
Dude, I was
and
fucking
like for $20.
Die for that.
This guy's getting up, man. Yeah, dude, go to town, man. I was
Hey,
fucking
man.
my videotape.
What do you think of Carcass, dude?
Carcass.
Carcass is God.
I haven't met them yet.
They're cool as shit. I was went to their hotel and hung out with them and shit. But
Right
I left
on.
because
I'm sure we'll meet since we're doing a tour.
they were
so.
tuning their fucking guitars and shit, so I just left and came back here.
Right on. Killer. They should rage.
You guys making fucking cash now? Cause you guys are on like really doing good?
Dude, not even. You want to see how much I have in my wallet? Get the out of my wallet. If I had my wallet here, you'd see about $3 in it. It's the first show of the tour.
I'm fucking Shutter. What the fuck is that shit?
You hit
Hey, whatever happened to Cam Lee, dude? He used to be the original singer.
Last time I saw him, he was in the gutter.
Really?
He's in the
Cause you were in fucking Metal Warrior and shit.
Who, Cam?
Yeah.
Yeah, well, that's Bill's name. Our drummer.
Yeah.
And I don't know if they're gonna use that or not. If they do, they'll get in big trouble.
Fucking give him the old fucking boost too, man.
Dude.
Get the lawyers in there and shit.
Dude, we'll go.
And say, hey, we're taking some fucking legal action here, buddy.
We'll brutalize, dude.
Beat him up on camera.
Scrutinize them. That's the cameo, dude. Yeah, wait. No, it's not green light.
You only hold it once. That's it. Just once. You stupid fuck. Give me the camera, dude.
Hello.
Hello. That's all I can do.
Dude, the fucking shutter's on. You're a kook.
Hey, my fucking arms are...
Are you trying to film Chuck?
I've been working out and shit.
Anarchy.
Yeah, there you go. Satan.
Well, let me carve a pentagram in my arm so I can be macho.
No, so you can be Pete Sandoval from Morbid Angel.
Do what now?
You Pete Sandoval from Morbid Angel.
Yeah, dude, I don't know, man. I just hope and pray I can be that man. I'll try, dude, I'll try, but I don't know.
You need a swastika on your forehead.
Yeah, dude, I always tried and like, I don't know, man.
Is it true you guys can do a video
Chuck,
for
dude.
Life or something
I'll get you a pair of David Coverdale snakeskin
Really?
boots. Yeah, dude. I swear, I'll put them in the mail.
Well, hey,
Right
man,
on,
is this love that I'm feeling? Because it's really got a hold on me.
That's right.
This dude.
I don't fucking know. Because in the still of the night, I hear a wolf howling honey sneaking around your door. You know what I'm saying?
Not now, no.
No.
Yeah, where we rehearse now is pretty much secluded, which is good.
They're fucking
Definitely.
God.
That's love, dude.
What?
For the love of death.
That's right.
Upside crosses hell and Satan.
Anarchy, dude.
Holy crap! Yeah, that's it. I think that's one of them. Something like that, anyway. Chuck, man, I'm going in, dude.
Okay, dude, me too. I'm going in.
Alright, okay.
It's cool talking to you, dude.
Peace.
Do you include Satanism in your music itself?
Not at all.
Not at all.
Not at all. I really don't want to involve any type of religious theme in our music, you know. I think that's something that's more of a personal thing. But yeah, I'm not a Satanist, and I definitely don't put that into our music. No purpose. Well, yeah, I was really young when the band first started out, and I've never been into writing satanic lyrics at all, personally. We did write gore lyrics, but it's more like kind of tongue-in-cheek, horror movie type level, you know, nothing encouraging people to go out and hurt themselves or anything stupid like that. It's pure kind of like fantasy movie type, you know, scary stuff. And then I just really got into writing about reality, which is what we all have to deal with.
En esta carrera. Por favor, yo les pediría que abrieran un poquito su criterio y respondiéramos con apertura de mente. Vamos a ver la semblanza del grupo Death.
De acuerdo con el diccionario, Death, en inglés muerte, significa extinción de la vida o sentimiento, mortalidad general, ruina espiritual después del deceso físico. Cuando uno piensa en la muerte, muchas cosas vienen a la mente. Pero si se trata de un grupo de metal, de inmediato se asocia el grupo Death. Death se forma en 1964 en Florida. Su primer nombre fue Manta, pero el grupo desapareció, quedando solamente el guitarrista y cantante Chuck Schuldiner. Las influencias de grupos como Venom Slayer mueven a Schuldiner a integrar una nueva banda, con Bill Andrews en la batería y Terry Bottrell en el bajo, no confundirlo con el ex de Black Sabbath. Esta base rítmica ultrasónica pertenecía al grupo Massacre. El cuarteto lo completa Rick Ross, que comparte con Schuldiner el trabajo guitarrístico. Chuck comenta: cuando nos integramos queríamos ser los más pesados, la banda más brutal. Nosotros nos consideramos 100% en la corriente del death metal. No somos satánicos ni nada por el estilo. Hemos trabajado duro en ello y a través de los años hemos adquirido cierto sonido especial. Han editado 2 discos que según la crítica son devastadores y brutales: Leprosy y Scream Bloody Gore. Hoy, una emisión especial de metal con Death en Música Sin Fronteras.
Pues los invito a que mañana nos acompañen en la revista. Recuerden que hemos tenido una semana muy rica en matices musicales. Yo me despido y los dejo con Death y esto que se llama El Pasado Olvidado, Forgotten Past. Bienvenidos y adelante.
before. Will life will turn, riding through gore. Will kick me down, will the years of decay, the bruises feel. All that's left behind, and I lay when to die. Little do they know, that I live their good life. And now it is the only way. The world, that is what they say. Release me from this lonely world. There is no way to run. For the fire, for the path to wear. For the fire, for the living way. Solo